from Fox, everyone. And next up, we do want to take you from D.C. to Los Angeles, take you out to the Hollywood Walk of Fame right here, as many people coming out to honor the late Chuck Norris.
I will never accept that Chuck Norris is gone.
A lot. Good guy, good charisma. He's got something special on the screen. I would love to see him there. Yeah.
Why doesn't he like you?
Because
ruggedness is the version of strength the world has sold for years. The idea that some men never bend, break, or pause long enough to feel anything at all. And for a long time, one man stood at the very center of that idea: Chuck Norris. And then, on the morning of March 19th, 2026, that version of strength disappeared. The man the internet had spent 20 years calling immortal had suddenly become history. But that's not the part that stung people. It's what followed over the next 24 hours that nobody saw coming. Because one by one, the men who defined toughness for an entire generation, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Dolph Lundgren, walked into a memorial service and couldn't hold it together.
And it's always fun because he always brings something new and crazy and unpredictable to the
These weren't movie moments. They were real emotions from men who had built entire careers pretending they didn't have any. And if you understand the history behind each of them, the relationships, it will change the way you see all of it. Because the story doesn't really begin with his death. It begins the day before.
So we went back, we worked out together for a couple of years, kicking the bag and all this kind of stuff.
You're not fighting each other?
No, you know, I was a professional fighter.
And he was not?
But he was good. He was good.
So you could have beaten him?
Well, I don't even know. I didn't want to go there. I didn't go, and Bruce didn't want to.
You're being modest.
Bruce didn't want to go there, and I didn't want to go there.
Any of the national champions could have beat Bruce Lee. Chuck Norris could have beaten Bruce Lee. And there's no question about it. Chuck Norris could have beat the stew out of Bruce Lee in a real fight.
On March 18th, just hours before everything changed, Chuck Norris was doing exactly what Chuck Norris always does. He was training, moving his body, and joking with people around him. At 86, 9 days earlier, on his birthday, he had posted a video of himself working out, with a simple caption, "I don't age, I level up." Within 24 hours, he was rushed to a hospital. And the next thing we heard, he was gone. The family kept the details private, refusing to say anything about the cause of his death, except a statement saying he passed peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. To the world, he was a legend. To them, he was something much simpler and much heavier. A husband, a father, a grandfather, the center of their lives.
Generally, the camera would be behind. So when I throw a kick, if I throw a kick, see, right into here. see, I missed by just about 1/4 of an inch. And so when David reacted to that, if he would have reacted like he had gotten hit, see the camera, it would have been a hit on camera.
It would have looked pretty good.
It would look pretty
good.
Now,
when do they get the noise in there? How do they put that in?
Oh, the key, well, generally we go into a dubbing room, but many times when I do it, I'll do that, I'll go, right into here like this. Or a punch, same thing with a punch. See, right into here, like this here, you can, but anyway, if that's how he reacts, if I throw the punch that close, he snaps his head back, and it's a hit on film.
And beneath this loss is another one most people didn't notice. Just 3 months earlier, his first wife, Diane Holchek, had passed away. A connection that stretched all the way back to high school, to a life before fame, before movies, before the myth of the man. 2 losses in the span of a single season. So by the time the memorial service was held, the weight in that room wasn't just about who Chuck Norris was. It was about what he meant to the people sitting there. Because Sylvester Stallone didn't speak as just another actor paying respects. He showed up as someone who understood exactly what had just been lost.
I will never accept that Chuck Norris is gone. His passing completely broke my heart. We've known each other for 40 years. The reason we ruled action movies in the ADS was that he was the only one who didn't rely on graphic violence or stunt doubles. He built his legacy with real martial arts skills and unshakable integrity. He once told me he joined the military and trained in Korea when he was young, not for movie fight scenes, but so he would never be looked down on. In that moment, I knew he was the kind of man who poured his entire life into becoming a legend of his era. Later, when I invited him to be in The Expendables 2, he didn't say much, but you could tell he didn't have to prove anything to anyone. Just standing there, he had already won. So you want me to believe he's dead? No. I choose to believe someone who fought his way up from nothing.
Years earlier, when Chuck's career had slowed and the industry had moved on, Stallone made a decision most people wouldn't have made.
I didn't have friends. I never went to a party, a bar, nothing. I went one time, it was New Year's Eve, 1970. I went to Times Square alone, and I looked around and went, every one of these people wants to be somebody. You better go home and start working hard, because this is your competition.
He picked up the phone. He brought Chuck into The Expendables 2, not as a background cameo, but as someone that has a larger role to enact in the film, as a lone figure who appears when even the heroes run out of options. That was more than casting. That was respect.
Ich bin fast fertig. Ich bin gleich wieder da. Du warst oft genug zurück. Ich bin gleich wieder da. Jeppa. Wer ist als nächstes dran? Rainbow. Korrekt. Steig ein. Mein Schuh ist größer als dieses Auto. Schieß auf etwas.
Immediately after the news hit, Stallone posted a photo of himself and Chuck, choosing his words carefully. He was all-American in every way, and then he stopped. No long speech or dramatic finish, just a sentence that carried everything he needed to say. Because sometimes, when something is real, you don't need too many words. Across from Stallone was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and his story with Chuck Norris doesn't sound real unless you know that it is.
Chuck Norris. If you don't know who he is, ask your children email. Variety star par excellence. The crowd of his admirers all over the world is growing ever larger. He is the undisputed master.
He began his karate training in Korea. He was stationed there as a member of the U.S. Air Force with the black belt.
Early in the 1980s Los Angeles, a young Belgian fighter arrived in Hollywood with nothing. No English, connections, or clear path into the industry. And somehow he ended up working at a bar owned by Chuck Norris. Not on a set or in front of a camera. At the door, checking IDs, watching everything from the outside. That was his entry point. Not through auditions, but through proximity. But Chuck saw something in him, gave him a chance, let him train, brought him onto a film set as a stuntman. And in that industry, one foothold is sometimes all it takes.
Hard training, a lot of luck. He became world champion, but that was in 1960. Self-defense technique. Jean-Claude is the Belgian champion, currently Choris assistant. Hard training every morning. Since the death of Bruce Lee, the legendary star of many karate films, Chuck Norris has been considered the only successor. Of course.
At the memorial, Van Damme didn't speak like a celebrity. He spoke like someone remembering where everything began. He called him a friend, not a legend or an icon, a friend. And that one word was more striking than anything else said that day, because the distance from bouncer to equal had been built by one man choosing to give another a chance.
Ich bin gleich wieder da. Du warst oft genug zurück. Ich bin gleich wieder da. Jeppa.
Then there was Dolph Lundgren, a different story altogether. Dolph came into the industry as a force, a disciplined, structured force. But like many others, he looked at Chuck Norris as someone very specific. A blueprint, not just for how to fight on screen, but for how to carry yourself off it.
Strand Hotel, yeah. I've stayed there a few times. It's this Grand Hotel, Strand Hotel, in the same area down there, and right by the water. And it's always fun because he always brings something new and crazy and unpredictable to the
At the service, Dolph didn't try to give a long speech. He didn't need to. "We will miss you, my friend." That was it. Because sometimes the simplest words are the hardest to say. And then there was the wider circle. The men who built the action genre alongside him, who spent decades competing, evolving, defining what strength looked like on screen. They all understood something the audience didn't always see. Chuck Norris wasn't just playing a role. He lived it.
Have you had much Aikido study?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've studied Aikido for several years.
Kendo? Do you do a lot of them to a degree? I mean, do you try to do a little of each one? Huh?
Was it Steven Seagal that told you that?
What?
Steven Seagal, did he tell you to get away from it? He may be a wannabe.
I'm sorry I brought this up. I'll figure it out.
He's a wannabe. Because the wannabes are the ones with the attitude.
Or maybe wannabe again or something. Who knows?
But he's a wannabe that will never be. Yeah. See, because guys with that attitude just don't make it.
Has he ever crunched your instep or anything? Or?
No. They wouldn't dare.
That menacing, really rotten kind of guy image that he projects is
carries over.
Largely acting, is it, or not? No. I see what you're trying to say.
Carries over in his whole life.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad.
For a martial artist,
I suspected that.
Yeah, for a martial artist, it kind of surprises me too.
Born in Oklahoma, raised in instability, responsibility found him early. The Air Force took him to South Korea, and that's where martial arts entered his life, and then he met Bruce Lee in New York.
Well, we worked out in his backyard, and he had a bag back there, so we did a lot of punching and a lot of kicking, and we did a lot of exercises, a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups. The thing is, Bruce was a very rare type of individual. Exercise, conditioning was his life. And when I did the movie with him, and doing that fight scene with him, just seeing how fast he was and what an incredible athlete he was, it was really an honor to be able to fight against him in this film. No, Bruce and I never fought, because he didn't have to go the competitive route. Bruce was already a star, and he didn't have to become a fighter to develop that thing. I did. I had to become a fighter to develop the recognition that I got. Bruce didn't have to go that route. But I think if Bruce had, he would have done extremely well in the fighting realm.
He lost his first fights, and then he didn't lose again. 6 straight years as a world champion, undefeated. That kind of run doesn't happen by accident. It happens through discipline repeated over time when nobody is watching. And that same discipline carried into everything else. His schools, his students, his charity work. Thousands of kids given direction through martial arts.
I do a lot of lecturing with underprivileged kids, a lot of young kids. And the basic philosophy that I give them is, I use myself as an example. Here I was, a kid who grew up non-athletic, never excelled in any American sports. Right. And I become a world karate champion.
Yeah.
A kid who was extremely shy and timid and very, very introverted. And now I'm an actor.
Yeah.
And you think, my God, how could he do these things? And I said, the formula for what I went through and how I was able to do this is that we all have basically 2 paths that we can follow in our life, a negative and a positive path. And what that means, Dennis, is in the negative side of it is that you feel in yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't accomplish anything.
Right.
I was born poor, I was in the ghetto or the backwoods of Oklahoma like I was, so I just didn't get the right card, so I'm gonna always be a failure. Now, if I want to get high, I'll take drugs. If I want to escape from the problems of everyday life, I'll just go and get drunk. Of course, the end result of all this is total disaster and a complete unhappiness. But just by changing your attitude and setting goals, having a direction, and setting a specific goal and getting that goal vividly in your mind, and then having the determination to stick with it long enough. That's where most people fail, like you say, is that any goal that you want to accomplish, there are going to be obstacles in the way trying to stop you to get there. So you've got to force yourself to overcome these different obstacles. But that's an excitement and a high that you can never get with drugs, because with drugs you go up and down.
Yeah, sure.
But with this type of excitement, it's a continuous thing. And then if you'll study or train accordingly, there's very few things you cannot accomplish.
And then something unexpected happened. The internet turned him into a myth. In the early 2000s, jokes, memes, and exaggerations pushed his reality just far enough to become absurd. People took every absurd superhuman ability in his movie roles to insane lengths. The most ridiculous ones being, Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants. Time waits for no man, unless that man is Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris can hear sign language. When Chuck Norris does push-ups, he isn't lifting himself up, he's pushing the earth down. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. Chuck Norris was bitten by a cobra. After 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died, which is almost true, by the way.
Here we go. Take a look at this.
Hey there. But now we'll show you what really happened in slow motion.
All right, watch this very carefully. Slow motion. There's his hand. There's Walker's hand, the right hand. There's the snake. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you got me.
Like what? You see that every day on the subway? Man, are you all right?
Yeah. You know, the first time I did the take, I actually got it.
You got it
and
fine.
I picked him up, did the whole scene.
Yeah.
They said, okay, take two. Take two, the snake was ready. He says, try it again. Second time I tried to grab him, of course he was waiting, came around and got me.
Got you right.
Yeah.
Was it very, very painful?
Well, it was like 2 needles going into the hand, but it hit a vein and blood was flying all over the place.
After being used as a parody countless times, most people in that position would push back and make a press statement. He didn't. He leaned into it instead, and even used it in his book, The Official Chuck Norris Fact Book, in 2009. That takes a rare kind of self-awareness, to know exactly who you are, and still laugh at the version the world creates.
Yeah, so many people coming out to pay their respects. Another live look right now. And we want to continue to talk about the life and career of Chuck Norris. So let's go out to our friends over at TMZ right now. We have TMZ's Michael Babcock joining us. Michael, always great to have you on. Some sad news as we all learned the passing of Chuck Norris. Tell us how you guys learned today.
Hey, Mike, thank you for having me. So yesterday, we broke a story on the website, the TMZ website, that Chuck Norris had been rushed to the hospital. Now, it was a little bit unclear as to what exactly Chuck was dealing with, although we had talked to people in his life, Mike, who said that there was no prolonged illness here. Chuck Norris was doing well, was still in contact with his friends. So whatever happened seemingly came on quickly, but nonetheless, he's rushed to the hospital either late Wednesday, early Thursday morning, and obviously then...
At the memorial, that duality sat in the room tensively. The myth and the man. And the people speaking weren't reacting to the myth. They were reacting to what he gave them. Because if you strip everything else away, that's the pattern that keeps showing up. He gave Van Damme a start. He gave Stallone's film a presence it couldn't manufacture. He gave Dolph a model of discipline. He gave audiences a version of strength that was real. And he did it all without turning it into a publication.
We find out this morning as his family announces that tragically at the age of 86 years old that the legend Chuck Norris had passed away.
Yeah, what a legend he was. I mean, he served our country, learned martial arts, and then really took not only the film by stage, but also TV.
He really did. Everyone, you throw around now, they were one of a kind, they were unique. I mean, he really was, in that he was this incredible athlete and martial artist, Mike, as you know. I mean, you go back to the 70s where he was training and good friends with Bruce Lee, and the Way of the Dragon, and black belts in multiple disciplines. He was such a fantastic athlete, and then to go on and become this action movie star. And I remember as a kid watching the Delta Force and Walker, Texas Ranger. He had so much success in both of those fields, and then to become the cultural icon that he had become.
Most careers are built on taking opportunities, attention, credit. But Chuck Norris built his on giving away his time, discipline, chances. And that's why the reactions looked the way they did. For men, known for strength, known for control. And every one of them showed emotions because they couldn't help it.